Right. Um, Question I have to ask all of you is: are you writing a story that is just a roller coaster ride for an audience? You're just writing it because you think it's cool, or you think it's fun or intense or dramatic or whatever. I would say no. I would say you're writing a story, yeah, because of all of that, but also because you have something to say. Matter of fact, you probably have a lot to say about a lot of different things. You probably have a lot to say about people and what people are like and how people should be and how people shouldn't be. What is acceptable for people to be in certain ways and what is not acceptable. And that will, all of those little questions will also be dependent on the circumstances. So, in this circumstance, is it acceptable to, for example, be a coward? Or in that circumstance, is it acceptable to be a coward? And what we're doing here is you spend all this time getting to know your story, your characters, the world that they live in. Have you spent some time to get to know your thoughts on everything? Oh, I've got some in my teeth. Have you spent that time getting to know your thoughts on the people in the story? What are they like? Do you like them? Do you think that how they're acting is good? Do you think they could do better? Do you think people could be better? Do you think it's acceptable to act how they're acting? So, let's say you're writing a story about a monster. Is it acceptable that that person is a coward? If your thoughts are, no, people shouldn't be like that, then why? And you're going to come up with all these different ideas about why is it's not acceptable. You might come up with ideas about what ends up happening as a result, which shows why it's not acceptable. People shouldn't be cowards. Or maybe it is acceptable. Maybe your perspective is, no, actually, no. You know what? In those circumstances, in that situation, I don't blame them for running away and being a coward. But it's all to do with your story. So you can ask yourself all these sorts of questions like, should people treat the bad guy with respect, with mercy? Should they have understanding? Or should they stomp them out like a bug given the opportunity? Horrible vermin, people like that ruin the earth, they shouldn't exist. Is that your perspective? If under the circumstances someone has to sacrifice something to save someone, should they or shouldn't they? What would be your perspective? And if they didn't, why is that so bad? Really think about what you think about your characters. Get to know your perspective, your opinions, what you actually have to say, because otherwise you're just writing a roller coaster ride for an audience. You're not using the story to express your opinion about what it's like to be a person, especially what it's like to be a person like that in that situation who's gone through these things. If you don't take the time to get to know your thoughts on the people and the stories and what's happening, then, as I said, you're just writing a roller coaster ride for an audience rather than using the story to get to know, rather than using the story to express your thoughts on how people should and shouldn't be and why. And repeating everything I just said again, if you blah, 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 aren't doing that, trying to say, if you're not getting to know your characters, your story, your perspectives on them, then all you're doing is writing a roller coaster ride for an audience, and you're not using the story to express what you want to say about anything. And I'm pretty sure that you're writing a story because you have something to say about life. You probably have a lot of opinions. You probably have a lot of strong feelings, which is probably more important. Does it make your blood boil when you see people do certain things? Or do you think it's okay? Does it make you sad when you see certain things happen? Why? Can the story show that? What's the alternative? Can the story show that? Does it make your blood boil when people don't act as you think they should? Why does the story show that? What's the alternative? Does the story show that? How should things be? Does the story show that? How shouldn't things be? Does the story show that? What would be the ideal outcome of all of these circumstances? Is it realistic? Does the story show why it's not